Awesome. So welcome everybody. This is Triple Seat's first social hour. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Azure Collier. I'm Triple Seat's Director of Content Marketing, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm coming to you from my tiny apartment in Brooklyn, New York. And I just wanted to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, who they are, where they're coming to us from, and tell us your favorite binge watching show so far. I am obsessed with Tiger King right now. So if we can have our Triple Seat panelist, Maz, if you can.
Yeah, so, my name's Rachel, and I'm the event manager here at Triple Seat. And I'm actually currently binging. Has anybody heard of Little Fires Everywhere?
Oh yeah, I read that book.
It's so good. So that's my current obsession right now.
I'm also Rachel. I'm the marketing coordinator at Triple Seat. And I have to agree with Azure. I'm a Tiger King girl now.
I'm Kate Kennedy. I'm the customer marketing manager at Triple Seat. And I feel like, I did binge watch Tiger King and it was amazing. And now I'm just catching up with Schitt's Creek so that I can finish it. So please don't talk about it.
That's my next one.
Yeah, and that's what's going on right now.
I can go next. I'm Lisa. I'm coming from you guys in Atlanta, and I've also watched Tiger King and Little Fires Everywhere, but my favorite was the Ozark season 3.
I can follow that. I'm Leita Younger, and I'm the VP of Marketing at Triple C, and I just finished season 3 Ozark, and I'm completely obsessed right now.
I'm Brian. I'm the VP of Accounts at Triple C, and I'm on all of those shows plus Unorthodox. If you haven't seen that, it's super good. Really, really interesting, amazing acting. I'm in the middle of Schitt's Creek, and I am 3 episodes from done with Ozark, and I'm enjoying a fake dark and stormy today. So just some ginger beer with some bitters and some lemon. It's kind of like we're pretending it's cocktail hour, right? So I got my Triple Seat straw.
Yeah.
I have water
She has
today.
a real one.
Nice coffee with Baileys. It's delicious.
Yeah, Dina's here. Hi, Dina.
Right. Well, you want to get into our topic today? We're looking at tips for leveraging your hospitality network during this time. So we're happy to take questions, or if you want to unmute yourself or take the floor, please feel free to do so. But we were talking before today's social hour about some things that you can do to harness your network right now, just in case you need help or advice or career tips or anything like that. And one of the tips that I have is using LinkedIn, which has kind of gotten forgotten in marketing tools, but LinkedIn's such a great place for you to showcase your work. And if you've done anything like project-wise, PDFs, images, videos, any of that, you can actually link those projects to your current job and kind of give yourself a digital portfolio in case you don't have a website. So LinkedIn is just a great place to show everybody what you've been working on. And with career-wise, it's always great to link up with groups and meet people through LinkedIn, or take the time right now and go through your connections. LinkedIn makes it really easy for you to find people that you may have forgotten about, and you can link up to them. And when you're doing something like job searching or trying to make other connections, the connections you already have, LinkedIn will show you who you have in common with another person or another job. And just keeping your connections up to date is a great way to take a next step towards doing something else networking wise on LinkedIn.
Yeah, just to add to that, and LinkedIn groups, as you guys I'm sure know, are an awesome tool as well to keep in touch with people. And I feel like I'm a member of like 12 event planning and event management LinkedIn groups. And right now it's only talk about, how COVID-19 is affecting business and resources other people are using and stuff. So I feel like it's a great tool to use with their groups as well. One of my favorites is I'm sure you're probably all members. Sorry, my son's running by. Real life. Event planning and event management, which like the first event group for event professionals. And they have like, I think there's like 4,000 members or something. And they have some great topics on there that they're talking about right now about everything, and also ways to move forward and you know, what to do next sort of stuff. So I love groups on LinkedIn.
It's really interesting how on LinkedIn, when you start looking at people, you are really a couple degrees separated from a lot of people that you might not have realized. So I think that's a great place to start to get that network up and running.
I'll piggyback on that. I'm Whitney from Triple Seat also. I'm an account manager, and along the same lines as groups, but not LinkedIn. I know, at least I'm based in Nashville, and so Dina will know this, but Facebook is a really big tool that's at least used here. So I'm sure that it's in other cities as well. And I would almost say our Facebook groups for hospitality for the industry are more active than LinkedIn. So make sure you're checking the other sites too. I know we have like a hospitality professionals and a restaurant professionals group. And just lots of networking groups, and people are always posting on there like, hey, here's my job status. Anybody know of any temp work if you're not able to work right now, and other things. So there's been some awesome resources that have gotten posted up there, and just everybody trying to help each other during this time.
And I'll piggyback on the Facebook as well. There's one for friends in the industry right now. There's Industry United has been a really good resource, I think, of information nationwide. So that's a good one to add on Facebook, just for, you know, any efforts that are going on for specifically for hospitality. So it's been, I've seen a lot of resources there, and it's been really valuable.
Yeah, I saw another national one that I found the other day, coronavirus in the food and beverage industry. And there are, I think there's 6,000 members on it, and they're really active, but it's national as well, so all markets, but there's job postings and really fun information and stuff like that as well. So, and we have one.
Yeah, we're just starting it. It's event manager community on Facebook. We just started it within the last 2 weeks. We're getting going, but if you look up event manager community on Facebook, it's tied to Triple Seat's page, and we're just starting to find some resources that are industry specific that can help you guys out.
Is anyone on the call that's has anyone on the call had any that are like within their own community or within your state that you guys are following as well?
Well, it's interesting, the Industry United one that Leita mentioned, with things like state resources. Every state does everything differently. So yeah. I'm like, those would probably be helpful, but the Industry United, everybody's really cool about doing a shout out. You know, I live in, you know, New York or wherever, and here's a link to this specific thing. So even though it's national, people are still really good about providing specific resources.
There's definitely a ton too for, you know, I mean, I know like 5 in the Boston area for Facebook just alone. And I'm sure New York and Nashville, of course, probably have a ton of them as well. In Atlanta, there's a ton in Atlanta too.
Yeah. I'm based in DC, so our big things here, meeting MPI as well as DC Event Coalition has been really great and active, gathering weekly webinars and discussions.
That's awesome.
How Natalie, how is DC feeling? I'm in the New York, New Jersey area, and so I know nationally, you know, it's a little bit different everywhere. What's the climate in DC currently?
I'm just gonna drink.
That's pretty much all of our answers.
I mean, it changes every week, so this doesn't.
I saw on the news today that DC is one of the cluster, like right now DC is like ramping up the, you know, but I'm sure it's because testing is ramping up. So, but yeah, I did see DC on the news a lot recently.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were also talking about some like industry groups and associations that are pretty helpful. Is anybody members of places like Heels and Handshakes or, all right, Brittany knows that.
Heels and Handshakes, that sounds amazing. Why don't I know about this?
It's Nashville based.
Yeah, Dina and I,
Love that.
Brian likes to call it heels and highballs.
Oh, Dina, we can't hear you. Oh.
Oh no. Let's see. She's unmuted. Oh wait, no, she's okay, she'll come back.
I am Googling heels.
Kate's gonna start one in New England now.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that name.
You're gonna have to rename it. I heard handshakes are gonna be outlawed.
Well, that's true, right?
Yes.
Heels and elbow bumps.
And nodding.
Yep.
I'm joining.
Yeah, Brian's just mad because it's women only. So it's just to give you guys a little background. It was started in Nashville, but I think the woman who started it is actually trying to expand. So maybe coming to cities near you soon. But it's a networking group for females in the event industry, women only, and it's awesome. Dina's showing us something on her notepad.
Dina, can you bring it up to the camera?
Oh no, her mic won't unmute.
Oh,
Oh
weird.
no.
No.
See if we can unmute her.
There's a chat function too. So
Oh yeah.
if you want to
that
chat
too.
in at the bottom, you can always type in something there.
Sometimes it happens too, if you go to the little arrow by the mute and do that test, sometimes you just need to run the test and then it'll work.
Oh, that's good. So Whitney, with Heels and Handshakes, do they have virtual events? So if we're not in Nashville, can we attend anything or check out anything?
Yeah, we've been just sharing kind of various events that we've all been seeing in webinars. I'm not sure if Heels has actually hosted any themselves, but I'm sure that they will organize that soon, in lieu of our monthly in-person events. But yeah, just again, all those groups are so useful for sharing any like webinars that anybody hears about. I saw one today was specifically about the CARE Act and stuff like that, and it's just navigating that because it's so confusing. So all those groups, I think, super helpful to get in tune with and engage with right now.
Cool. What are some other tools or resources you guys have as suggestions, Triple C panelists? What's some other websites or associations you guys have seen in the last couple of weeks that have been really helpful?
I've been in New York. There's the New York City Hospitality Alliance. They're kind of at the forefront of regulating in general. They're always trying to advocate on behalf of hospitality and regulate things. It's a really strong group. We're members as Triple Seat, but I think for anyone, they probably have a lot of useful information, and especially with everything going on.
Lisa, to piggyback on that, they actually have lawyers that they retain, and then they circulate their summaries for kind of what's going on right now. So that's definitely very useful.
Yeah, Shira, do you reference them a lot?
I mean, I get their emails every day, always reading them. It's definitely very relevant, useful information.
They send multiple emails a day too, so they're really on top of it.
Yeah, and they reference Fox Rothschild a lot of times, are the lawyers that they use who are
those are their lawyers, exactly.
In hospitality. So I think even if you're not in New York, it's still a really good, it's a good website to go and reference and collect.
Yeah, and anyone can get their emails. So if you want to add yourself to their listserv, it's really easy as well.
So we had a couple of questions that came in before the chat today. Is Erica on the call? Can't see names unless I hover over people. Oh, well, Erica had asked us, what can hospitality consultants do in this time? Does anybody have any advice on that end?
Apply for aid. Keep talking to your clients.
I've seen a couple articles about still being in contact with your clients during this time, just checking in on people, sending cards, sending emails, checking in on events that are scheduled for the rest of the year, just seeing what they can do to make those happen. So just keeping, touching base. I really do, just as a consumer, as a person, appreciate businesses just sending emails saying like chewy.com. I order a lot of stuff from them, especially now, just, checking in and, letting people know we're thinking about you. So I think reaching out to your customers like that is really helpful.
Yeah, and I think personal messages are also really helpful, like text messages to clients, things like that, even if it's not about anything business related.
Yeah.
Something really cool that an Atlanta restaurant group that is a client is doing is they just moved to text services. So they're offering like meal kits and kind of doing creative approaches to the takeout and delivery, but they actually are starting to once a week, if you're okay with opting in, texting out what they're offering people. So like you don't even have to go and look on their website anymore or like wait to get their email. You'll just get a text message and then you can click it. And I opted in to get them because I love their stuff and they have a bunch of different restaurants, but I thought that was really creative and kind of like a different thing to do during this time.
Hey, we can hear Dina.
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry.
Are you in a pool?
I'll step around to the other side so you can at least hear the ocean waves.
Oh, very jealous.
Oh yeah, I want to quarantine there.
They're all welcome.
Right. I mean, I feel like last year at this time, weren't you guys just doing the NBA draft, Dina, in Nashville? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed that. It was the NFL. Yeah.
NFL. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was the week before bank camp.
One of those sports things. I don't know.
Brian's our sports expert. We turn to him. We have questions.
Yep.
Dina, have you been using any resources that have been really helpful for you right now? Is there anything you can that you think the rest of us should be checking out?
Our CBC is doing a great job right now of touching base with all of the venues, all of their partners, and I think that's been a great thing just to check the pulse, because I got a lot of information from them as to what others were doing, and unfortunately everybody's furloughed on our side except my team. So it's hard to keep in touch with everyone in general, but we do use Heels and Handshake a lot. MPI is doing a good job, but I kind of like the information coming out of Heels and Handshakes a little bit better. ILEA, I've got another call with ILEA shortly.
Awesome.
All the typical ones.
Do you feel like a lot of your customers, Dina, are also furloughed and unemployed too? I mean,
I
think the list is growing. I think what I've seen is that the first wave, my husband works in like banking technology stuff, and they were, until this last week, everybody was like, oh, things are just business as usual. But now some of the bigger customers that, that they were dealing with are starting to say, okay, well, we laid off, half of our team, so we're not moving that project forward. So
same here. And a lot of them are furloughed, so I don't know, once we do the slow roll to reopen everything, if they're going to bombard us, or if everybody's budget has been cut and we just need to shoot this year away.
I bet it will change. I bet it will change the role of the person too. What we're finding is that we're talking to maybe I think most of the people represented on here that I know, everybody that I know, but Beth, are like director level people, and you guys kind of have the pulse of things and are taking over, still being connected and stuff. But a lot of places the GM is now our contact for Triple Seat. And have you seen that with customers too, where people that have things booked out in the future, that the person that is maybe dealing with that isn't the same person anymore?
I think we will when things start to come back. I've had a few that want to, talk about canceling for September, and I'm not even willing to talk to them yet.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Right.
So, but yeah, I agree. I think that we will see some turnover or some realignments within departments. Sorry, guys, I'm looking for an outlet. You know, I don't know that we'll be working with the same people again.
Some things that I'm finding, I'm Corey. I'm an event planner in New York, New Jersey. And so I'm an event planner, but then I also am a consultant for a few different venues and a hotel in the Caymans, which it's a great place. Once this is over, you guys should all go. Palm Heights.
Right.
Awesome. A little plug. But some things that I'm finding, especially in our venues in Brooklyn, 99 Scott and 154 Scott, is we're also reaching out to other venues. So people that I haven't really met before that I've heard of or I wanted to, I'm reaching out to them saying, listen, we're here for you guys. If you need to walk people to us, if we need to walk people to you, we'll honor your rates. We'll do whatever it is that we kind of need to do so that we're all in it together. So the whole thing is being an event community and not losing an event. We don't want events to cancel. We want them to keep going. So we've been working with different vendors to kind of say we're here to place them. Also, some things that we're doing are for our Instagram stories. We're starting to share people in our community, what they're doing. Sorry, my kids are making meatballs and I think my house might burn down. I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, open the windows, it's all oniony. It's crazy, but I hear them making a lot of noise. So I'm a little nervous. Anyway, so we're sharing things on our story, what local vendors, caterers, different planners, whatever people are doing, we're kind of sharing that, just one, to stay relevant in our community, and just to kind of show that it's a teamwork and that we're all in this together. It's the event industry, venues, it's everybody together, because right now it's scary. And like you were saying, you know, all these different groups and talking to people, and a lot of our friends are all in the same industry. And I mean, half of my planner friends are on unemployment or trying to get a small business loan. So it's really anything that we could all do together and really just help out. Even, you know, it's kind of put like the, you know, we're fighting to be the best and make the most. It's kind of, well, how can we help you right now? Like everyone is really just trying to help. And I think that that's going to make the biggest difference in the end too. And then you're also saying like consultants. So I'm also taking the time to clean up all the back end, to figure out what we're doing, to get our shit together so that when it does open up, hopefully, that we'll have it together and we can move forward and be a little bit more streamlined.
Corey, what's the Instagram? Oh, I was going to ask, what's your Instagram handle? I want to follow it.
So we're 99 Scott and 99 Scott Events, and also Palm Heights. At Palm Heights, I think it's, well, that's nice that I just forgot it. Don't tell them.
But it's Palm Heights, right? We can look it up.
Yeah.
How are you getting that message out about, you know, to your other venues and competitors?
I'm emailing.
Are you
emailing, calling? Some of them I'm friends with, but the ones that I don't know, I'm just emailing like, hey, you know, we're here.
Are they working?
Yeah, or friends of friends. Like, oh, do you know that girl over at the Foundry? What's her info? Or hook me up with this one. Just to kind of, just to show that we're all kind of in it.
Exactly.
And some people are very responsive and receptive, and some people are not. So you just have to try.
We share a lot of leads in Nashville anyway, so I think that would probably go a long way here.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a great idea, because later on, you know, we might, who knows, people might want to rebook a bunch of stuff, and there's only so many more weekends in 2020. So you might need those other people to talk to and say, hey, look, our weekends are booked in September, but I know this other venue that might be open, and you can send each other business.
Right. And for like weddings and things, people are opening up a little bit more to Fridays. You know, they want that time of the year, but they can't get that Saturday, and Fridays are cool because then you have to do whatever you want.
Yeah, we've been curious, Corey, that if people might even start going back in the week, like Thursday nights are going to become a wedding night, or you know, people just want 2020 to be the year, and they're willing to like make it happen, however whatever that takes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and like you were saying that you had some people for September. So I have a 500-person wedding in August, and we're looking to either move it to December, or they're like, let's just do it next August. And which I obviously want to keep it in 2020, but it's kind of just, we want to keep it. So all these vendors are relying on it. Everybody needs this business. So we're like, okay, what do we do? So.
Corey, I definitely feel what you're saying, because I've also probably rescheduled 30 weddings the past 3 weeks.
And then keep rescheduling them probably, right?
This is actually the first week I haven't rescheduled anything, and I've only had to cancel 2.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're seeing, it's a lot of them moved to 2021. A few of my fall ones just got nervous and postponed. I will say the couples themselves have actually been pretty understanding. It's with the vendors, because that was all revenue they anticipated. So a few of them, particularly our caterers, just are asking for an additional deposit. And nobody's charging anything.
The additional deposit is to be used towards their next event, right?
Correct. Nothing, no new money, just additional deposit toward their event.
Huh. Yeah, and that's what we're finding too. One case though that I found a little odd, just as for my planner hat, was one of my videographers. He said that they're not going to lose money, but if they move it to the next year, if she has an opportunity to book that date for another client, she's going to take that and put herself on it, because then the whole thing, like, I understand a little, because she doesn't want to lose out on that revenue because she would be getting it. But I don't know. To me, I thought that was a little unethical. Like, it didn't make any sense. It's like, no, this is a world pandemic. Like, you should just book it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was the only weird thing. Otherwise, all vendors have been great about moving the dates, postponing. As long as you postpone, it's fine. And one of my vendors, a DJ company, entertainment for mitzvah, they were saying that they're asking for a second deposit with the new date, but if they have to cancel and can't do this again and it has to be because of the virus, then they will get that second deposit back. They'll hold on to the first deposit, but they'll get the second deposit.
Oh, interesting.
Are you guys seeing more cancellations or more rescheduling when you're hearing from clients? Rescheduling?
For me, rescheduling.
I've had probably 60, 70%.
I was gonna say, how do you guys, like, do you have any tips on if people like are pushing to cancel, like tips on maybe moving them towards the rescheduling?
I will say all my corporate have canceled. And for a variety of reasons, they just don't know what's going to happen. They're a lot more risk adverse. All my social, 90% of them have all rescheduled. And we kind of convinced them more. It's one of my properties is federal property. They would get the refund because it's technically a government shutdown, but all the vendors can't refund them. So they would just lose too much money. And we just have you may not now have a wedding. Instead, you're going to have a baby shower or a cocktail hour. Mm-hmm. It just kind of gets, that's
so
how
what do you do with your corporate clients that cancel? They just lose all their deposits from everybody, or does the venue give back the deposit?
No, they've just, they've ate it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, for my corporate venue clients, they've actually been pretty great about saying, like, we'll hold it and maybe reschedule, let's get it a little closer. And they're being smart, because if in July we're still in the situation, we'll probably end up having to refund them. But the rest of them are just like, give us the money.
Yeah, okay.
It sounds like those are the people that you can keep in touch with, though, because as long as you're kind of maintaining the relationship, as long as they stay in the role, then whenever things do pick back up, it's easy enough to say, like, okay, what can we get back on the books now that things are going back to normal on the corporate side?
Yeah. And I know people are going to be so tired of Zoom meetings in a couple of months that they're going to be really wanting to get to a venue in person.
Did you say gonna be tired?
Beth, you entered a question before our meeting started today, and Beth wanted to know, how do you have conversations with these corporate and social clients about booking later in the year? So we talked about that a little bit, but anybody else have any tips on what they've done to convince people to rebook instead of cancel completely?
Well, it's even more about, hi, it's Beth, I'm from Philadelphia. I feel like it's more, hi, Whitney, it's more about, I think people are scared now because they're hearing there might be a second wave in the fall. So, you know, it's hard to, even though you're reaching out to your clients to say, hi, how's the family, you know, more of a social call than saying like, when are you going to rebook with us? But if there's an opportunity to try to like capture holiday business now, I mean, that's what I'm like trying to grasp for, because like literally hardly getting any leads or like any inquiries coming in at all. And it's just, I don't know if it's the right time sensitivity wise to reach out and say, I know we're in this pandemic, but now's a great time to think about your holiday party.
That's so hard right now. You want to be sensitive, but you also want to get the business in too.
Right. And I also, you know, you also want to be looking like your boss made a great decision to keep you still working, besides handling all the cancellations, rescheduling, and moving money around. But, you know, we still need to book future business. And I think it's a kind of like a catch-22, like sensitivity wise, like people are laid off, they're not going to spend money, corporate's holding back funds in the event department. And, you know, it's just, how can we gain business at this time?
Is anybody offering discounts or anything to clients right now for deposits for anything?
We're going to wait until we see kind of what the pulse is when we start opening back up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not offering discounts, but some things, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Beth. It's like, you don't want to be that ambulance chaser. Like, hey, come, like, this is what, it's such a fine line. So certain things like handle it, like, you just have to be careful. It also depends on your relationship with a particular client too. Because you could be like, hey, like, this sucks. Like, how are you doing? How's homeschooling going? You know, like, totally just be like, give me a call when you guys know what's going on. Or, you know, it all depends on the total relationship. If it's more corporate, it's just like thinking about you, or, you know, however you handle your relationships. But I think it's really for us also to try to get more business. Right now I'm looking at different sites. So our venue is great for film shoots and photo shoots. So certain things we're trying to even redirect a little bit, because maybe, who knows if we're going to open up and be like, you could have 50 people, or you could have 100, or you could have 150, like what the increments are going to be and when it's going to open. So nobody knows. So that's why we're kind of, let's check out that avenue. And how do we get on those sites that are for the location scouts, or for that, just kind of redirecting our position and who we typically target until we know, and we don't know. So
that's a great idea. And something like a photo shoot, you know, getting back to business, it's not going to be a lot of people coming in, you know, at the same time. So they'll be more willing to set something like that up.
Exactly. So certain things like that, that's kind of, we're trying to look in that direction just in case, because who knows? And that's the whole thing. It's all these uncertainties. And that's why.
I think everyone's touched on a really great point of just leveraging and maintaining these relationships during this period. The corporate event planners are in a very similar position to all of us in the venue side as well, and that they're trying to justify that they have events that they need to plan. They've got budgets that they're responsible for. So they're going to try and leverage their relationships as well to try and make sure that, I think they are all aware that as soon as the fog lifts here, the availability for inventory is going to be tiny. Like, everything's going to get snapped up real quick. So if you haven't considered where your holiday party is going to be done now, don't wait until August, because at that point the inventory is going to be limited for you. So I think as an industry, it's keeping that two-sided relationship, you know, current and up to date, and keeping it dynamic is going to make sure that you know, when this fog lifts a little bit, that we're all in a position to kind of close out some really strong Q4 numbers.
Barry, have you been hearing from clients so far that are looking towards, just going ahead to reschedule for later in the year, or are you finding people are just kind of waiting more to be more certain about putting a date on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a real mix of a lot of the weddings, just like you said, like I've mentioned here, I've heard folks, even personal friends of mine, are just postponing. So they're moving things out into next year. And people are seeing things on their calendars now in 2021 that at this point in the year, typically wouldn't be there. And then just like everybody, just drastic levels of cancellations for this, this Q2 period that we're in, which is usually, especially here in the South, is usually, great time because we're starting to get hot. I mean, it's, I know, 80 outside right now.
So jealous.
Already. Just spoke with a ranch who are opening up next year in just outside of Lake Tahoe. And they are just getting their platform set up and running so that they can start booking. They know now that, they're not going to see anything, they're in a pretty unique scenario and that they're breaking ground right now. But it's really interesting to see these people still looking to start driving their engine for demand generation now, even without ground being broken. So, we're all in a similar situation where we need to start looking at driving for the early part of next year, even while we're still trying to recover this part of this year.
Where are you located, Barry? You said you're in the South?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay, cool. Got a couple of other Atlanta people on here.
Hey, Barry.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I'm calling from Seattle. I didn't have my video on originally because I joined this call last minute after a run. So it was like, let me not disgrace them with how I look right now. But I think that on the topic of getting your clients to reschedule as opposed to canceling, I've had a lot of success. I'm currently furloughed. I work at a hotel here in Seattle. But I think just being really, really honest with them about the situation, I've had a lot of success with before I had to leave. Just letting them know the exact direction that your business will be taking, what your plan is. This is what we'll be doing. I'll be either myself or my director will be in constant communication with you. I think I've had several clients just say, thank you for just keeping me, in the loop and being honest with me. So I feel like at this time, that's almost the most important thing to my clients, at least that I've interacted with. But one question I wanted to ask, and we've kind of talked about it already, but what do you all think that the industry will look like post all of this? Do we think there is going to be some sort of just big flood for the industry? There is talks about the kind of the resurfacing of it in the fall. So I'm just interested to hear what you all think.
I mean, hi, it's Beth. At first going through this and like rescheduling as much as I can, and so many cancellations, at first I felt like everybody's just going to come out of the woodworks and be like, all right, we have to get out, we have to plan things, we need to be social. But I feel over the past week or week and a half that that's not going to be the case. I think it's going to be a very slow build. Because I think within the media, I think they're scaring everybody for future. So I think that's where it's like pushing people off to booking for fall, or just like even weddings are scared in August, September, October, and they're not sure what they want to do. And I just think 2020 is going to be a big bust in my mind. December
I agree with
might be
Beth
great.
completely. Yeah, I agree with you, Beth, 100%. The last week is when I started feeling like if we do have fall events, they're going to be significant. It's just going to be so small. The ones even who are booking, suddenly it's the budget cuts. I had an influx of for social, for weddings booked real fast for spring of 2021. And then suddenly just kind of stopped. And then everybody was like, oh, my 300-person wedding is now going to be 50.
Oh, wow.
It just happens fast.
Right.
It's like
And it's not only that, it's just like the money in general with somebody, socially, people that are laid off, they just don't have the budgets that they were going to have because they have to sustain their living now. And they might even have to push it off to like 2022. So, I mean, looking at my Triple C calendar is very depressing over this past week, and only seeing a few green of my definites. And it's sad, but I mean, I have faith that it's going to come back. I just don't, I'm trying to be realistic and know that I don't think it's going to come back like I thought it was going to.
Do you see things like, instead of the big holiday parties for a company, that maybe a smaller department will have, it's fewer people, they'll book a little party for their individual department instead of the whole company because it might be too many people?
Possibly. I mean, after 9/11, budgets were just taken away for socializing. I was more on the catering side of things, and it was bleak. And it took a long time to recover. Now I'm on the restaurant side, where I feel like being in the restaurants have a little more advantage because I will take that 12-person dinner, or you know what I mean? And that's fine with me. I'll be sad when I don't have the buyouts of the restaurants, but it will come back. It's just, I think it's not going to be what we expect it to be. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
I think part of the oh, go ahead.
I was going to say two things. One, I feel like you said, everything shifts so quickly week to week that hopefully the mentality is, when there's like a little bit of hope or progress or whatever, that the furloughed people get brought back, like things snowball quicker than we had anticipated, and at least some of the corporate can make up for some of that social lag. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm hoping that can flip that. And I too, post 9/11, I had just started working in events for a magazine, and I'm trying, I started that job in September 2001.
Oh man.
And I was at Marie Claire magazine, and I remember we were still doing events. It was like in that fall we started, budgets were definitely not what they had been prior to that, but it didn't, nothing stopped. And so that does give me hope, because, and also obviously in 2008 in New York City, it took a while I was in hospitality then, and it took a while for things to recover, but it came back, so I too have hope. I agree with you. We don't know what trajectory that's going to take, but hopefully as quickly as the news flips people on the negative side, it can flip people back on the positive side.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in on the glass half full side of that scenario as well. And I think that there's going to be led by corporate events as well. I think your sales force and people like that, they're not going to want to abandon what they do for Dreamforce. And everyone is going to want to do that. I think that you probably will see the retail and the private personal events may be lagging behind, but I think people will take their cue from the corporate events, the relationships with the hotels, the airlines, with everything like that. They're so deep and so well entrenched that they're going to want to reestablish those as quickly as possible. So they're going to get people traveling again. They're going to get people spending money on hotels and hospitality and things like that. So that's my glass half full part of the scenario, and that's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed for.
Another thing on that, we actually hosted a hospitality panel. Barry and I hosted a hospitality panel for an event. I think it was the one in San Francisco, but we talked about how even before all this happened, especially in the restaurant industry, things might be trending more towards like sit down, personal, smaller dinners that people might want to host in group dining. And I think that if, as we come out of this and business starts to come back, people still are only comfortable doing smaller events, whether it's because of the number of people that can get together or because of the budget they have. Adjusting your strategy for menus that you're putting out or experiences that you're hosting in your restaurant or venue fits that style or that type of event, then it's really just like offering people something that they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's within my budget. We can do 20 people, that's perfect. Whether it's corporate or social, it's kind of like staying on your toes and thinking what are our guests going to want to do, and then being able to like offer that to them or market that out to all of your contacts. Someone mentioned it before, but kind of having that ready. I think Corey, you were saying like going through like the back end and really just thinking through like what can we have ready to send to people for when business does pick back up.
I mean, that's a great point. We only offer family style at the restaurants for all large events. And I'm sure that's going to be changing to seated dinners, which I totally understand.
Yeah.
Now's the time to revise all of your packages and introduce some smaller options.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what a group of uncooped millennials will do once we let them back out again.
Special alcohol package for that group.
Well, some things that we're doing too, so for the hotel, we're doing a little bit more health and wellness. So maybe smaller groups, things that are more yoga, meditation, juicing, like cleaner, like, so, because right now it's about, you want to be healthy, you want, not big groups. So that we're leaning a little bit towards that. With the venues in Brooklyn, we already do have like great juicing programs and all these different beverage programs, but we're trying to do a little bit more healthy, because that's the direction that it seems that people are gonna go in, like, because everyone's like, you have to be healthy, and
we're all going to need a detox after our eating and drinking habits in quarantine. Everybody's going to want that.
That's the problem. I was like, where did all that wine go? Yeah. The other day I was like, kids, did you drink that tequila, or did I have all that? Like, I was hoping that they broke into the bottle, but
any day it's nice out, which luckily has been like more and more, we have like just outside on our stoop, we have happy hour because it makes us feel like somewhat alive. And so yeah, there's been a lot more consumption.
A lot.
I have been willing to put on my gloves and masks to go down to the liquor store in my Brooklyn neighborhood to pick up a couple of bottles of wine.
But like we were talking about how since all these Zoom, get social gatherings are happening, I have more of a social life now than I did before coronavirus.
I know, because I'm not traveling as much and I'm not like going, but I'm like, all right, sure. I have like 3 Zooms sometimes one day. This is awesome.
We actually have one customer in San Francisco that I was talking to that owns a bunch of clubs, and they have a catering cocktail license. And so they're actually delivering cocktails to people's houses that are doing their Zoom meetings. So like when Google has a Zoom meeting, they actually send like a full like cocktail order to the house of each person that's at the meeting.
Great.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
That's amazing. So you just give them like an Excel sheet of the addresses and they're like drop off for the Zoom. I am obsessed with that idea.
That is great. Was that Michael? Who was that, Brian?
Yeah, it was Michael. Yeah, it was Monarch. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else think that you're going to be hosting a lot of baby showers 9 months from now? That maybe that's a little business that could be picked up?
On my usual optimistic side, and I know you've heard me say this, Azure, before, but I think there'll be maybe some divorce parties too.
I still haven't had my divorce party. I need to do that.
No better time than post-quarantine for a divorce party.
Yeah.
I heard a stat that somebody said like the people who are quarantined with like it'll only be people who are having their first children who might have a baby 9 months from now. Anyone who's living currently with their children, you're set.
Never again. Never again. Love my kids. Never again.
That's great. Well, thank you guys. I'm so sorry. I have to jump. But it was great meeting all of you.
You too.
Thanks for your input. I think we were going to have a poll to see for next week's topic.
Yeah, Matt, could you put up the poll? We want you guys to pick what to talk about next week.
Oh.
Just 3 options.
This poll feature is really cool.
I love it. It's my favorite feature of Zoom.
I didn't know it had that feature. All right, great. I did it.
Can you show us the results?
Oh, they're ready.
Yeah.
Corey, you can go if you
have to.
Yeah. Just watch our emails and stuff. You'll find out the theme.
Thanks.
You can share. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, we have our topic.
All right.
Perfect.
Is there an opportunity for like a little more advanced triple seat training, like in this time where we have a lot of downtime, just for like things that are new and improved with triple seat, and just trying to figure like that whole reporting situation that you have to pay for?
Oh,
like,
for
would you like to learn a little more about that, or I don't know,
You
just
guys-
some
you
more
have
advanced.
Do you have TARP, Whitney?
I'm sorry?
Are you on TARP, the advanced reporting? No.
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 I just kind of like put it in the back
No.
burner because I never really had time for it.
Right. Well, Beth, obviously, you know Whitney.
can always
yeah.
talk.
But you guys, if you don't know your account managers, you can reach out to me, and if you want to have more training, they're happy to do it. And a lot of people have been doing that actually because they've had different people that are in fact doing the like I mentioned earlier, right? Like the contact is a different person now. But like in your case, Beth, you want to do a deep dive and stuff, or maybe you have a lot of locations, so you might be like, you know what, I've been thinking about making some changes to my docs, or anything like that. Like we can really dive into that stuff with you now. So just I'll let you guys talk to each other anyway. So I'll let you guys get together on it, and you tell me about like if there's anybody that wants to have more. Reach out to your account manager. If you don't know who that is, you can email me, Brian, BRIAN @triplec.com. And
in the chat.
I'll make sure. Yeah. Oh, cool. And then I'll make sure that you have the right person, and we'll get whatever you guys need. So we're
And we
happy
can also
to do what
we can do one of these Zooms around like triple seat features to use during this time that are helpful. Like we can totally make that a topic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we have had some, right? I mean, we've had a few.
Yeah,
we've had a few sessions. Azure's done a couple already.
We've
that
got
are
a
on our
weekly
Best page.
Yeah, weekly webinar on Wednesdays called Adapting Your Business to Change, where we've got some tips about what things we found other people doing in the industry to pivot and make some revenue. But then the big chunk of it is going into Triple C and using things on how to use Triple C for pickup or delivery and takeout, but then other kinds of tips and stuff you can use. And thanks, Kate. TripleSeat.com/events. All the way.
See, I pushed that by the wayside because we weren't doing takeout, and now my boss called me today and said we're going to start doing takeout at some of the restaurants. So then I was like, oh well, I'll figure out. I'll call Whitney. I'll email Whitney and find out.
We have a couple of videos too on how to set up those new features. And then Kate next week is doing a Facebook Live. We have our monthly release Facebook Live, our fireside chat. We'll probably, I would guess, talk about those features, right, Kate? And some other things.
Absolutely. We'll talk about those features and also some other new features, but mainly we're talking about features that you can use now in the world we're living in now. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll record it as well, so you don't have to watch it when it's live.
Yeah, and we have the blog post that has all the notes and any videos that you could check out to figure out how to use the new features.
Cool. I love Triple Seat, by the way. You guys are amazing, and the company.
Thank you.
We love you, Beth.
All right.
Just so you know, for these meetings, like it doesn't have to be, if you have friends in the industry who are furloughed, laid off, not working, who aren't Triple Seat users, aren't Gather users, you can certainly share this with them. We just kind of want to be a place where we can have roundtable discussions and bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other. So it certainly doesn't have to be only people who are already using. So you share in your networks, in your personal networks, and we'd love to have people participate.
Or if you're at home alone like me and you want to talk to actual people, you can join us every Thursday.
I hear that.
Cool. Well, All right, so we got our topic for next week, and
I'll send an email out to all of you in addition to other people, but feel free to forward the invite to whoever you want.
And we'll put this up on YouTube, and we'll have a blog post with the video embedded. So if you want to pass this on to anybody and go, hey, I attended one of these, do you want to come next week? They can see it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Stay
guys.
safe, stay
Thank
healthy,
you.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.